Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joy Davis, and I am here with Ryan. How you doing,
Hi.
Ryan?
I'm doing well, and thank you.
Awesome. My name is Joy Davis, and I'm the field organizer here at Pure Justice. And so today we're going to be conducting a police misconduct and community safety survey. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. In your opinion, do you feel the police keep impoverished communities safe?
No,
Okay. Whether verbal or physical, have you ever been abused by law enforcement?
verbally.
So, how did you handle that abuse?
Um, in my experience, the way that I handled that type of abuse was necessarily when I had to, it was more of a situation of me having to kind of play it safe because I felt as if my life was in danger, for one. Then, two, also because I had to um, necessarily understand both their, position as far as with their job and where I was. And um, although it was very unlawfully disrespectful, it ended up being in a way to where I basically took precedent of um, making sure that I kept myself kind of put together to where I was saying. So basically, kind of not necessarily being, um, oh, like, yes, sir, this and third, but at the same time, holding my position on me as a civil person of letting them know, like, hey, like, I know my rights. I know what is acceptable for me to do and not to do. And you're not going to be able to just bully me in any type of manner and think that you're going to get away with it. So, in that sense, that's how I handled myself.
All right. Now, did you report it to anyone? And if you did, who?
No, I did not report it. Reason being of why I did not report it is because I didn't feel as if that it was that big of a situation. Also, on top of that, the officer ended up apologizing after I said what I said. So there was no need for anything else.
Got it. Now, do you believe reporting police abuse to law enforcement is an effective way to seek justice?
Yes, it is. And sometimes I get the understanding of some people who may feel, eerie about me not reporting it, due to the simple fact that it was a big situation. And with me being a Black minority, um, it could have caused a lot of different other issues. But it is a big importance due to the fact that it gets things done. Now, I would say necessarily that you have to put in a lot of work when you do report. You have to make sure that you are checking up and making sure that you're on your P's and Q's and dotting your I's and crossing your T's as far as, making sure what you are looking for gets done because, of course, we are a Black minority and it's a lot of things that we don't get in our favor. So, therefore, as long as you're putting in the work and sticking dedicated to reporting what happened to you and what the situation was, it's going to get done.
Absolutely. So now I'm going to pivot to another thing.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Shot Spotter before? Do you know what Shot Spotter is?
No, could you explain that to me, please?
Okay, so Shot Spotter is a way where they use devices in impoverished communities to try to identify whether or not a gun has been fired. So, like a gunshot, right? So that's how they call it, like Shot Spotter. But
Are those little things that they that's just like no police are there, but it kind of like is presented by the police?
and it looks like those little panels, almost looks like a computer monitor, like a small monitor that's on that they put them on these buildings. So, how would you feel knowing that there are listening devices implanted and hidden only around impoverished communities?
Well, one, I'm not surprised. Two, due to the simple fact that we had Watergate. We still looking into that. So, as far as with that, I'm not surprised, but how I feel about it, I feel like it's very wrong.
Mhm.
I feel as if that there's no type of privacy. I do kind of respect it in a way because, of course, we want to keep your community safe, but at the same time, within impoverished communities or, you know, minority communities, it's like, are you kind of targeting us because you know that's something that you expect from us type situation?
Mhm.
It's more of a very type of a racist maneuver. Um, like you're putting things in a position to where you are, oh, we're on call, basically. We're
Right.
on call. Like, so therefore if anything happens, oh, we're there with the next 2 to 3 minutes. There's no issue. But most of the time, if there's a real situation, you guys don't get here until 10, 15 minutes after. So
Listen. You're exactly right. So, what if these devices could hear everything that you say and could monitor everything that you did?
mm, um I feel as if that is very, very invasion of privacy,
Mhm.
because if you are able to see and hear everything that I'm saying, whether regardless if I'm just talking to my sister, I don't care. Why are you in my business? I
Right.
mean, but that's a lot of things that we have wrong with the police today. It's a lot of assumption. It's a lot of different type of mysteries. Most of the time, when they are making a charge, it is based off an assumption. It's not based off of something that is factual. And then later on, they have these situations to where you've arrested somebody based off of an assumption, and then now here you are. You have to go through all of the the legality process of having to figure out what actually happened, and then also releasing that person. And now here you are, you're upset at yourself because, oh, well, I did this and that, or I thought that they were, the right one. Now you're in trouble. Yeah, because who told you? Nobody told you. You didn't check and make sure that your facts were together before you did what you were supposed to do. And that's the very, very one of my biggest issues when it comes down to police officers is that they don't tend to actually get in all the facts first before they make an arrest. Um, just to speak on something, I had watched a show of NCIS, and it
Mhm.
was with Olivia, and she had this black man arrested due to a Karen basically saying, oh, I saw him. That's why he was so aggressive when the situation came up. But he was doing nothing but simply recording the situation that was happening. And so therefore he went ahead and he had, told her, but because of his record, but because of what he had on his criminal background that was already taken care of, you want to take me in. Why?
Right.
Why is that?
Got it. Now, would you be okay if ShotSpotter gave law enforcement the legal right to stop and frisk you while walking to the store to get your family member some food?
No. um, Again, invasion of privacy. Um, Even if a shot did go off and it may be in the area, it has nothing to do with me. Life still goes on whether we like it or not, as far as with any situation that happens. Yes, everybody may still, as far as with Black people, of course, we scatter around and we try to figure out what's going on. Absolutely. But outside of that, it's you're just coming to do what? You're frisking me for what? Because I'm Black? Because I'm a person of color? Because I'm something that you're not and you don't like me. And so, therefore, with you not liking me, you've done everything possible in your power to be able to stop me or to be able to have an issue with me at any given chance and moment that you can. And that's exactly what that is. You're looking to have an issue with me at any given chance that you would like, just because what I'm walking to the store and I'm going to get some food and I'm a Black person.
Mhm.
Why?
All right. So, how would you feel knowing that any of these following could cause law enforcement to legally harass you if there was a shot spotter and it was and the notification went out that there was a gunshot that happened? So, someone watching a cowboy movie too loud and they begin to shoot on television, an item falling off the back of a truck, a car backfiring, or someone popping firecrackers on the 4th of July.
Again, are we like, we are taking away from life itself? It's going to happen regardless if we like it or not. We
Right.
are in a position now, especially dealing with children, you know, a lot of our children that are here in the United States, you have a lot of them, and a lot of them like to play with firecrackers and things of that nature, you know, poppets, all of that stuff. So therefore, with them having all of those things, you think that they're not going to want to do that on 4th of July? You think as if that I'm going to refrain from having my TV loud inside of my home that I pay for and I put taxes on and things of that nature just because you want to have a shot spotter outside. And so therefore, it goes off at the beep of any type of convenience. No. If that's the case, if we're going to have a shot spotter, let's start implementing on how we can work on the technology of the shot spotter, on how it actually detects when an actual real bullet is, you know, being shot, or how an actual situation that may be happening across the street, you know, with Miss Louise or something of that nature, and, you
Mhm.
know, being able to protect her. It's, if anything, if you're not having a shot spotter in our area to be able to protect us, there's no need for having a shot spotter because we've been doing this for a very long time with and without one. So therefore, now that you're just now trying to put one, okay, our community is still the same. What are we
And then,
doing to change our community? I'm sorry.
right. And so, how would you feel knowing that the shot spotter is only in poor communities?
Because it is, because I see it every day. um,
Right.
but at the same time, not only that, when I go to, if I was to go to a friend's house or if I was to go and visit, you know, some family members that stay in a nice area, you don't see those. That's
Hmm.
not something that you see. If anything, you see the police station that's, you know, very built and nice, you know, built up very nicely. And, you know, it's there dead smack in the middle down the street. If
Hmm.
anything, it's like, oh, okay, well, we're going to make sure we get to you guys in 2 to 3 minutes. You know, we're going to make sure that we get to you guys in ample enough time to, you know, save Miss Susie and, you know, Mr. John and be able to, you know, take them to the hospital to get care. But then when it comes down to Miss Louise and, you know, Ryan, it's a situation because we're Black and we have to sit there, we have to wait and we have to still suffer and, you know, deal with our complications either on our own and having to try to figure out a way on trying to get out of that situation. Mm.
Gotcha. Now, have you ever experienced violence? And if so, were the police able to stop the violence that you suffered?
No. Yes, I have experienced violence, but no, they have not been able to kind of stop the violence I endured. Um, and dealing with that, like I said, again, we had to deal with our own complications. I had to figure out a way on either how to protect myself and how to keep myself safe with the firearm or without a firearm, with a, you know, a deadly weapon or without a deadly weapon. It was a situation that I was put into and I had to not necessarily fear for my life, but I did at a point in time because of the age that I was. And with having the police called, it was all based on, well, what did you do and what's the situation? And, you know, why are you guys calling this type of situation? Like, I called y'all and you're not even here to protect me. If anything, you're asking me, what did I do wrong to set off this other person or to make them feel the way they did when they just did this just because?
Right. So, in
No,
that case, do you feel like the police would have been helpful to you regarding the harm you suffered, or absolutely not?
not at all. Because if
Um,
anything, I'm doing stuff myself and you're supposed to be the help.
right. So, have you ever been a crime victim as far as like theft or broken car windows or criminal mischief, and were the police able to respond in a way that helped you?
Um, yes, I have been a victim of car theft. I have had um, before I got my actual vehicle, I had a temporary car, a loaner car that they gave me, and that was actually stolen. When I called the police and told them about the situation, no. They made the report, they did what they did as far as their, you know, process wise. But as
Mhm.
far as, you know, coming to try to figure out the situation, how it happened, all the certain things, it did not happen. If anything, the company that I got my car through are the ones who actually found the car because they had a location, a tracker on the car, and they went ahead and they got it. Other than that, no. Again, no help. So whether
Okay.
not if I'm in a violent situation or a situation where my car is being stolen, you still can't help me. Just, speaking of a situation, my car was involved in an accident that I wasn't in. I wasn't in my vehicle at the time. And I had a police officer. I ended up, once, my family member got back home, they had told me about the situation that happened in my car. And the police officer ended up actually kind of like, I don't necessarily want to say following him home, but came to my address and actually came and, followed me here on the pursuit of what a possible hit and run is what he claimed it to be. But at the same time, if that was a hit and run, why is it that you're just coming after my car? What about the person who actually did this, made the thing? My car wasn't as badly, messed up as the other person's were. And if I was to have caused the situation, or if my car would have been the one to actually causing the big incident, you would think that, of course, yes, you would come to me, but then at the same time, what about the other person? Then at the same time, you talking big stuff to where you like, oh, well, I'll tell that person to come here so that way we can see their car and, kind of settle the
Mhm.
situation. Call them. Not once did the person ever show up.
Got it.
So are you giving me false accusations? Are you, putting me in a situation that I don't need to be in when, you know, I could have been wrong in this situation, but you don't know because, they're sending you from the precinct and, the officer that was actually on the call or, dealing with the situation, they're nowhere to be found. Oh, they're dealing with something else. Okay.
Got it. Now, did you know every time the budget of law enforcement increases, it can't be rolled back? So whatever you gave them last year, you must give them this year. And law enforcement is $4 million away from $1 billion budget. How does it make you feel to know law enforcement is $4 million away from $1 billion budget when people in the community have been and still are struggling with food and housing insecurities?
It makes me sad. Reason being it makes me sad is because it's like you're our government is funding the people who, well, they want to kill us too, but they're funding the people that want to take us out and don't necessarily want us here. And it makes me sad because there's a lot of things that could be done as far as putting that money into schools, putting that money into, making our streets better, instead of everybody's cars having to be messed up on a daily basis, just from potholes or from, cracks and things that's in the road. How about putting that into our streets? How about putting that into, things that are going to fundamentally help our community instead of bringing it down, which way much more than what it is? How about putting that money into, helping people that our impoverished community as far as helping us, rebuild some of our homes or, helping rebuild some of the things that, we need or building the things that we do need, more grocery stores, more gas stations, things of that situation. They're not doing that, but you rather fund people who end up having a certain type of hatred against our community. And it's like, why? Like, what is the reasoning? And to bring up a type of a sample of that situation, um, I was watching Scandal, and Olivia was working on dealing with a situation where the officer had shot that young man, but all he
Mhm.
was pulling out was a cell phone. He pulled out a cell phone. We're funding you to shoot our people based off of a cell phone. Again, that goes back to what I talked about with dealing with assumption. Instead of funding them for that, and it's so much money because they ride around, we see them once in one type of car, but now here you guys, y'all have these nice Tahoes and SUVs.
Mhm.
Y'all have these different, y'all have these military grade type of guns, all of these type of different things. But then yet here we are, and we still have to fight day to day to get the things that we need on the necessity to survive. Why? It does not make sense.
Absolutely. So this brings me to my next question, which you've already kind of uh, spoke on. So, how would you feel if we froze the law enforcement budget in order to fund the needs of people? And I want to be clear, this is not like defunding the police, it's like a freeze. So we would keep law enforcement's budget where it's at before putting another dollar into that budget that can't be shrunk. We would fund community needs, and you've mentioned some of those, like grocery stores and gas stations. And what do you think about like properly funding the education system, childcare, better drainage, trash services,
Yeah,
access to healthcare? What do you feel
I
about
would.
those?
I feel like that would be way much more better. If we were to actually put a freeze on the police, I mean, you said we're $4 million away from them being at $1 billion funding. Do you know
Hmm.
what I could do with $1 billion? Do you know what I could do with that for? Okay. But neither here nor there. I mean, as far as just hearing you say that, and then all of the different things that we need, housing. Hello.
Hmm.
It's a lot of people that need to be housed. It's a lot of different, just homeless people that I see on a daily basis just walking the streets that don't have anywhere to go. And they're having to find, shelter or homes inside of, underneath the bridge, or inside of an abandonment store, or inside of an abandoned house or something of that nature. Housing, grocery stores, our school system, especially what's going on right now with our school system, especially with a lot of the change that is going on, dealing with the LGBTQ community. It's like, why aren't we funding our teachers, to, teach better things? Why aren't we, helping, we're always talking about how teachers are underpaid. Why is it that, we can't necessarily give them the proper funding that they need in order for their basic necessities to survive? Yeah, they get paid something nice, but at the same time, they don't get paid enough to deal with the things that they deal with in school. And a lot of that comes from outsourced from being at home and what we deal with real life on a daily basis. So it's
Hmm.
like, why is it that we can't fund these other things, um, instead of just funding the police? I feel like it would be a great idea to fund the other things and putting a freeze on the police funding. A lot, much more can be done.
Absolutely. Now, if you could prevent the police from doing one thing, what would it be? Like chokeholds or no knock warrants, making arrests on nonviolent charges, traffic stops, dispatch on civil cause, etc. If you could stop the police from doing one thing, what would it be?
The one thing that I would stop, because it's a big issue in the United States at this time,
Mhm.
I would stop them from, or excuse me, in Texas, let me say that. I would stop them from trying to arrest everybody who smoke marijuana. Reason being is, I agree with the chokeholds and everything else, yes. But reason being is that they it's like they do it themselves at home. But you have a huge issue. The simple fact that I am a Black person and I do it too. Yes, it is legal everywhere else, and no, it's not legal in Texas. But it's like our jails are literally filled based off of people with a drug charge or a
Mhm.
possession of marijuana charge. You're arresting us for something small. Why? Yes, it is our laws of our land, but it's like you can't put everybody in jail.
Right.
Like you can't put them all in jail. What are we all going to do there? Because then now what? Now we have to fund the jails to keep everybody, moving and things like that. But the whole goal is to try to keep everybody out, right? But how are we doing that when you are picking us up for all the smallest, slightest little things and taking us to jail for the slighter things? I thought jail was for people who were doing the worst, heinous crimes. But no, it's for everyone, no matter regardless of what you do. Whether if you turn, make a wrong turn at a light, or if you decide that you're doing an illegal U-turn, doesn't matter. Whatever it comes down to be, y'all are willing to take everybody to jail and don't care about it. But then y'all want to scream about how our jails are overcrowded and underfunded and how things aren't being done how they're supposed to be done. Well, stop putting us in jail for the smallest thing that you can just give us a ticket for, if that's the case.
Absolutely, absolutely. So give me a few words of emotion that come to mind when being pulled over by the police. If anything, do you feel safe or not, and why? But what comes to mind when you are pulled over by the police?
Confident. Um, confident, resilient, and patient. Because one, I feel confident because the same way that they're not going to back down, I'm not going to back down either. And like I said, I know my rights and I know what I could and possibly may not have done, what was wrong, or what I did was right, or whatever the case may be. Confident in myself because you came from all the way over on the other side of the road and then you decided that you want to track me down. So I know what I was doing. Two, I said resilient because for the simple fact that I want to keep a certain type of peace between me and the officer. I'm not a person that just says, "Oh, I hate the police all the time" and things of that nature. They're humans too. I don't want to dehumanize them, but at the same time, I want to be understood that I am still meant to be respected. And you will do that because just how much you want me to give you respect, I don't care about your authority. I don't care about what your position, your job, and what you do. You're here to protect me. And just as much as you want me to respect you, I expect you to respect me first. Because if anything, you're here to protect me. And then lastly, for I said confident, resilient, and patient.
Mhm.
Patient, for a simple fact, is that dealing with them have to be patient. Sometimes I can find myself being impatient because I'm like, okay, well, just give me my ticket and go. But I want to be patient because let's see how your mind is working.
Mhm.
Are you on that type of time or are you not on that type of time? So let me not do anything too swiftly or to a certain extent to where, it could put me in a compromising position. So
Absolutely. So, what does police accountability look like to you? And do you believe that's currently happening in law enforcement departments across the county today?
no, it's not happening. It's not happening, but police accountability is um, if you shoot somebody, you take accountability for it. Don't sit over there and be like, I didn't mean to shoot him. I didn't, da, 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 da. No, you did what you did. Take accountability for it and say, I did this. And it makes me feel this certain type of way. Um, be a genuine person about what you did as far as when it comes down to taking accountability. You put over the wrong person. Oh, my apologies, sir. My apologies, ma'am. I put over the wrong person. Instead, you're still willing to take the person that you pulled over, and although that may be the wrong individual, you still take them to jail. So then now, boom, now you have a lawsuit because now you're
Mhm.
sued for defamation.
That's right.
So in that sense, it's just take accountability on what you know that you did wrong or what you have done right, whatever the case may be. Whether if you did something right or did something good for the community, great. Or if you did something wrong and you did something to an extent of where where you don't agree. If it's something to where you don't agree and another person does not agree to the situation, take accountability for what you did that was wrong. You knew that it was wrong in the first place. That's why you were having those thoughts or those doubts about how you felt about it when you did it or after you did it. And then here you are, now you're trying to cover up your tracks or your guilt and everything else that comes with that because you want to make yourself seem so right and oh, I'm so proudful. Pride is a killer. And that's something that they all fall from is pride.
That's right. In 2023, the Harris County housing budget is $411,604. The police budget is $4 million away from a $1 billion budget. Could we improve community safety by investing in the needs of the community over investing in more police?
Yes. Yes.
All right. And what type of resources could we use instead of police to address the vulnerabilities of the community in order to create safe communities?
Um,
So we could be like recreation centers, maybe
yes,
transportation.
I will say more recreational centers, more transportation, yes. Um, but something as far as like bringing being able to bring the community together, I feel like that would be a lot better. Actually, like hosting like county events. Reason being is because once a county or a city knows that you care about them as one, um, a lot more can be done. A lot more people are going to be involved. Now, at this point in time, you're getting the community involved. Not only is the community helping to make a difference by whatever they have, if they are, if it's an impoverished community, it's the mayor coming to let us know, I care about you and I would like to do something different and make a change, regardless if it is recreational centers or if it is, providing transportation or providing, anything of that nature. But just the events, letting me know that you care and you're here, school drives, doing certain type of things as far as food drives, those type of different things. More of those make a bigger impact. And yes, us as people, we have our own mindsets and we think a certain type of way of like, you don't care about us, you're just doing it just to be doing it. But at the same time, when you do it enough and you make more of an impact on that, it actually makes an impact on us and it makes our changing in our mind different because it's like, oh, well, so and so did this and they actually care. Yeah, I'm gonna go and go vote for them next year when the next election comes, because they're gonna do something that actually I need or helping me something that is useful. They care about something that I may not have to go over to Kroger's and go and have to spend or drop a good $200 to $300 for, and I can save that and put that into my home. So it's those type of different things that make a impact on our community, that helps a lot more.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Until next time, let's work to change some laws. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.